Hey guys, it's TF Nut. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing another action figure review. This time it's going to be of the brand new Bandai Tamashii Nations SH Figuarts Hell's Paradise Yamada Asaemon Sagiri. I really hope I said Yamada Asaemon correctly. Very cool character from Hell's Paradise. Really like this character a lot. Finally got this figure recently, as well as the new Lloyd Forger figure. There's been a decent number of other SH Figuarts I've had to skip out on lately. I'll try to get to those eventually, but the bills have been pretty rough these past couple months. But I already paid for this and Lloyd, so we'll be doing those reviews this week. Enough yapping out of the way. Let's go ahead and get the packaging portion done here. You can see in the box here, it does say Bandai Namco, a Tamashii Nations quality sticker right there. You see the figure in the box, some of the contents you see over there. It does say Yamada Asaemon Sagiri, as well as the figure right there on the right. SH Figuarts, I still don't know what this logo is right there. Also, the Tamashii Nations and Bandai logos, it does say Made at Vietnam. Uh-oh. We'll have to wait and see. The colors on this box are really nice. Lots of nice, like, brighter purples, pinkish purples, and blues there, too. It's right there, Yamada Asaemon Sagiri. A little bit of white there, splotched on the side. And then you get a full body image, if I zoom in, right there, of the figure holding her sword. Again, the character's name. We look on the top, we see the smiling face posed on the box, SH Figuarts, and the character's name once again. On this side, the bottom here, it's the support page right there. You can pause and read that if you need to take a look at that. Now we look on the back of the packaging here. Top half, you can see her post with Gabimaru right there. Some of the different accessories you can use for this figure, SH Figuarts and all that. Simple style and heroic action. Ages 15 and up, as well as a barcode in case you need it. Let's go ahead and get this figure out of the packaging. So here is the figure out of the packaging, and if I'm going to be brutally honest, I am not super pleased with this figure. It's not god-awful, but my particular figure has some pretty big problems that I just can't ignore and don't think I can fix. There's also some things within the actual engineering of the overall product I don't think are very good. So I think it's a little bit of a subpar figure, if you ask me, which is hard to say because I really like this character and I really wanted this figure to be good. It's not all bad. The accessories and other parts about this figure are really good. So let's take a look at the accessories to take a closer look at the figure. Now, I did say the accessories were good. However, there really isn't that much here with the price that some of you guys are going to be paying, which could go up to 75 to 80 bucks depending on the retailer, which is kind of insane. This sword, though, is really nicely done. The black and white on the handle, the gold at the bottom here, as well as on the guard. All that looks really nice. The actual sculpting is good. I don't have Gabimaru's accessories right now. I don't know if this is a similar sculpt compared to this and that sword. When I do photos towards the end of the video, I'll find out. But the silver on the actual blade is really clean. It all looks really good. There's some fuzz on somehow on this figure. I don't know if it's from me or somehow fuzz got in there in the factory. Who knows? So let's talk about the faces. I'm kind of going in whatever order I kind of grab them. But we have some pretty interesting faces. This more comedic, disapproving face with the mouth open and a sweat mark right there. But it's a pretty funny face. She makes this to Gabimaru a decent amount of times. The eyes, all that printing looked really good with the eyelashes and the actual eyes and the pupils. The way that they did the eyebrows is really good too, as well as the paint in the mouth there. The white in the teeth, all that looks really nice. Her head does look like it's a little bit, has a bit of a big forehead, but she does have long bangs, so, it just kind of looks weird right now. But once you, pop these on and the bangs cover all that, it won't look weird. This is more of a smiling expression, very cool. Again, the eyes look really good. The printing with the eyebrows, and I forgot to mention the ear sculpts. They could be a little bit more detailed, but it's not bad. I think it might be accurate to the design of the characters where you don't see the ears that much, or see detail, I guess. And it's just pink in the mouth this time. I don't see any teeth going on there, which is fine. Still looks really good. We do also have this more angrier expression. I thought she came with a screaming angry expression for battle, but she does not. And she comes with a stern expression. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But this one here looks really good. One thing I want to mention is that I think that this isn't really a complaint. You'll notice that the lip color, just like the line in the lip, It's a little prominent. I think it's a little too strong, but there's no splotching on any of these faces, though, so I think it's fine. It's just something I really wanted to mention there. And then the way that her eyes are squinting and all that, looking really nice. Last but not least, with the faces, this more... I'm not so sure. This seems more like the sauna face, where she's like relaxed. She has the blushing going on in there, too. And the eyebrows look really nice. The eyes are nice and closed with the nice eyelashes, and then whatever's going on in the mouth. All that is very nice. So, surprisingly, a couple of comedic faces. She only comes with one of these left hands that is meant for holding this katana holster. So when she's ready to unsheath her katana, there's a lot of fuzz on here for some reason. So that's pretty cool. I think that you can't really tell that much, and it doesn't really matter. But I think there's a little bit of splotching. I think that the red is bleeding down in between the index and middle finger just a little too much. And then you can see the inside right there is actually really nicely painted. I think a tiny bit of bleeding going on in there of the paint, but that still looks really good. And then the red, the way that's a little bit darker red going on there, all that looks really good. We also have, if I can grab it, all the stuff properly, the relaxed set of hands. The right hand there is just a bare hand. You can kind of make out some fingernails, but not really. I feel like they're actually not detailed. But the palms look fine. Then this left hand here, again, you have that little tie. I don't really know what the design choice is that Gabimaru also has, but they tie it around the middle finger right there for the outfit. But that's pretty cool, and the red paint is very clean. She comes packaged with the fists, I forgot to mention, which we're going to take a look at that right after this. But she also has these sword-holding hands. Again, a bare hand right here. The thumb and index finger are sculpted together, and then this is what the left hand looks like. I feel like, actually, the detailing is not too bad. There is no paint on the inside there, but there's no detailing on the inside of the hands. That's because they have this smoothed out on the palms, so that way it's a little bit easier for you to implement, holding this. And sometimes with some of these figures, they are sculpted in a way where, the thumb and index finger are together, but then you put the sword in, and sometimes it will break those sculpts. And it's not just Tamashii Nations that sometimes has that. I can't remember exactly when that's happened, but it's happened this year with one of my figures, I think. It's not going to happen here when she's holding the sword. She holds it in and out rather nicely. Before I start this section, one thing I forgot to mention the entire time that pissed me off during the live stream for this, and I noticed this as soon as I opened this figure, this really ugly paint transfer right there on the inner bicep that just shouldn't be there, and it is extremely annoying. It is going to be apparent when I pose this around, so it is a problem. Now, one thing I want to mention that's good about this figure is that I think all the faces, especially the stern face here, look really good. She looks like she came right out of the anime. I do think that the skin tone is a little bit glossy, especially in the face and the neck, but that printing is really clean. I also really like the hair color. Sometimes, yes, it's pretty obvious as a break in the hair, but not all the time. I've had it a couple times where the hair color is not super consistent here and here. Again, I can't remember which exact figure. It's happened with Tamashii Nations before, though. And the coloring, I think it's a little bit on the camera. It's a little bit more glossy here on this back headpiece and a little bit more matte here, but the color is pretty consistent, I think. The creasing in the hair, these longer pieces going down here, they're not articulated at all or any bendy wires, but they're soft plastic, so they shouldn't get in the way too much. All that is done really well. Again, her bangs coming down really nice. Then you look at the creasing on the back of the head here. Then her long ponytail, as you can see, I think is really nicely done. Nice curl going on here, and it's lightweight, so it doesn't make it too back heavy. Same thing with this ribbon piece that's tied around there, and it's ported in there, so it's kind of hard to take it out if you really wanted to. You can take out this because it's on a ball joint, but this red part you would have to heat up if you want to remove that, and I don't really think you should. But that can actually move and have a little bit of articulation if you want to move that compared to the actual head. Now, one thing I need to mention, there's a problem. The articulation in the neck going into the torso is loose on my figure. It likes to bounce back like that. The slightest little bit of movement, it likes to go all the way back, and it's just really not. And on stream it was a little worse, but I should not be able to move it this much, and the slightest tilt or push I would do, it would make it go all the way back. So I don't like how loose this is. It's starting to look, you can kind of get that a little bit. The stiffness and like the dumbbell joint going from the head to the neck, that is tight and that's fine. So I don't know, but I don't know if I can like pop off this neck piece unless I heat it up. And even then, if I do heat it up, it's kind of hard to grab. So I want to grab it. Whatever socket there is, I want to put a little bit of, just a tiny piece of paper in there to give it a little bit of friction. But like I have to do that later. And that's just not good for what's going to be upwards of an $80 figure. I also think this is not that big of a deal, but I do think that the engineering is a little too apparent going on here in the shoulder pieces. These softer plastic shoulder pieces are meant to cover this, and they really don't. But the actual range of motion is fine. They are rather stiff, but they still feel like really smooth when you move it around in a way where you should, be comfortable moving it around. So that's good. Because Power had a problem where her shoulders were really stiff. The these actual like wrinkling going on like on the back here, it's mostly smooth up here. But then wrinkles around the arms, I think it's going to look a little too bright, and I'll back up a little bit because of the the lights might make it a little too bright. But the sculpting, all that looks good. It's not too baggy, kind of like some Figment Demon Slayer stuff going on there. So, that's still pretty nice looking. The skin tone's a little bit glossy in the hands here, I think. And I think that these wrists look a little too circular for these ball joints, but they're not bad. The red going on here from her chest up around all the way around her neck with that ribbon, and a little bit of like an off-white in the shirt there too. The gold for whatever that is, that button or bell, whatever that is, looks good. And then you see how this left like arm brace gauntlet piece looks. So that looks nice. A little bit of detailing and sculpt and the paintwork going on there. This like stomach piece, whatever the corset I guess would be, looks nice. I don't think it's a corset. At least this particular outfit. I don't know, I'm sorry. But there's a little bit of a brighter red with a little bit of darker red going on here. I think that it looks a little bit plasticky. There's not much paint definition going on in there, but there is definitely some paint. So the sword, the katana holster, you move that around. It's got like it's a ball peg, I think. The peg is coming from the holster, and then there's some articulation in there. It will move around. You can make that fit like that, so it's like, it matches up with how the lining of the stomach's supposed to be, but you can make it move if you need to on the fly for articulation and posing. This piece does pop out, so this is more of a, separate accessory, and there is a groove. It's kind of hard to see. There's a groove in there, groove in here. Line that up like so. And I am doing a bad job of it. But the detailing on the handle looks about the same as this unsheathed katana. And then the off-white here. Well, it's actually just more of just straight up white. That looks fine. Then you have, the rest of the outfit towards, the pants and all that. The creasing on the backside, around the hips too. You can see all that creasing pretty much going up in under the stomach piece too. And then these pieces, and these legs can barely move, and we'll talk about that in a second. But you can see a little bit of creasing being covered by this upper thigh piece. This red strand all the way down on the leg is pretty good looking, but, I don't remember. I gotta look at images later. I don't remember if she's supposed to have a skirt or if she has actual, like, pants that look like skirts. So they're kind of adopting what they did with the bleach stuff where the legs are separated, and because they're so baggy, but they still want to do articulation, they're separate legs, but they are just, when they're supposed to be skirt pieces, basically. So they have that here, and I don't hate it, but I also don't love how they executed it here. Again, the red is fine. There might be a little bit of shading, or it could just look glossy in the light, but there might be a little bit of like a light blue shading. Again, could be trick of the light in like the white parts here and the wrinkle, the creasing. Again, it's just like, it's just molded in this color. There really isn't much paint definition in other areas, which is just kind of Tamashii Nations' thing lately, I feel like. Besides like guts, which actually was really nicely painted. And then you do have these like, shin pieces that are red, have a little bit of tears around the ankles. You have the white in the ankles. And then the actual sandals, these look great on the bottom here. Gabi Maru's also looked pretty good on the bottom. So no complaints here, and the top of the toes right there. So yeah, there's some good things about it. There's some things I'm really not digging about it, and I haven't even finished like everything I'm not super happy with this figure. I forgot to mention like the strand or whatever's going on here. So this is, you know, softer red plastic and all that. Again, looks pretty good, but it does have its problems in some of the engineering. Now, articulation, like I mentioned, she does have that ball joint actually that really only swivels here at the ponytail, and then you have the dumbbell joint going up into the head, and then the articulation going into the torso from the neck. So that's as far forward as it wants to go to, but it really wants to go forward back, and then this kind of wants to pop off, you know, that headpiece. And then that's as far up as you can make it go, which actually isn't too bad. Side to side is actually pretty decent, and then the rotation, not too bad, but in some angles that is a really apparent neck joint, so that can be kind of distracting. Arms can go up and down a little bit. Again, you have that like shoulder piece that's covering it in the butterfly joint. Arms can go all the way around like this, and then up and down. You can make it go in and out like that. Pretty good range of motion there. You can make it swivel, I think, here, but really it wants to swivel only here. And then you get double joint elbows, which when you bend that, there's some gappage there. Some other characters have had that same gappage this year, depending on how baggy the clothing are. Grab the forearm, and you can actually rotate that. That's the same for the other side. And then the standard wrist articulation here for other SH Figuarts and other import figures there. You got to see the fists, I'm pretty sure. We do have a separate waist joint, so it can swivel here, a little bit of side to side, a little bit forward and back. This is a little bit of a softer plastic here at the stomach, so it allows for a little bit of a push forward, then push back. Of course, you have that separate waist joint here, and moving that. But things start to get gappy once again, so I think the torso could be better. Legs go forward, they really don't kick out that much, and they don't kick back at all. Okay, so yeah. People have had this problem, they barely move the legs, and stuff starts popping out. I can pop that back on in a second. These legs have engineered thigh swivels, and because of how all of this stuff is baggy and just sculpted, she cannot do a thigh swivel. This is worse than our McFarlane Toys thigh swivels. I said it. Single joint knee that gets a little bit over 90, but is pretty ugly to bend. Swivel here at the ankle, up, down. Oh, sorry, that's the down, of course, I'm an idiot. Then up could be a little bit better. The cuffs kind of get in the way. Ankle rocker, toe hinge. Man, that's a little rough on the bottom half of this figure. Measuring out the figure, we're going to be looking at around to the top of her head, 15.5 centimeters. That will make this figure a little bit over 6 inches tall. These figures, you know, different properties within the SH Figuarts line don't really scale with each other at all, like accurately. So she's going to be a pretty tall female character. She's definitely going to be taller than Gabimaru, who's supposed to be short. She's a little bit shorter than Ichigo, as you see right there. And then far left and far right, you can see just how tall she is to Marvel Legends and Black Series figures. Overall, like I have said in this review, unfortunately, I'm not really digging this figure. I think that Tamashii Nations quality here is not very good. And the engineering is also not great with this particular character, especially for the prices most of you will be paying, which is going to be around $70 to $80. That, to me, is unacceptable. And, you know, not to vent or go on a tangent, but they have just really been dropping the ball with all of their stuff, not just the Vietnam factory stuff, like the China factory stuff too, has just been dropping the ball with quality this whole year. It's cool that Tamashii Nations is getting us a lot of different characters from different properties, but at the same time, I would gladly wait 2.5, 3 years for some of these characters if it meant the quality is good and not just pumping them out 4 to 5 figures a month, and the quality for all of them have just been getting worse and worse depending on, you know, just different factors. It's crazy. The quality is not good. This particular figure has really good sculpting. I think it looks a lot like the character. A lot of details are really nice, and the accessories for it you have are pretty cool, but there's just not enough stuff here to really warrant the price point that you would be paying, especially some of this paint splotching I have. The problem with the neck, you know, the torso neck system being really loose. The upper thighs engineered in a way where they can't even like rotate. That is insane. And then just the way that the pants look when you move them, it's just not really great when you articulate the legs. So unfortunately, I just can't recommend this figure, even though I really like this character, which kind of sucks. It's going to be around 70 to 80 bucks. I paid a little bit under 60 for mine because I got mine from Hobby Genki and shipped it with another figure, so they saved money on shipping there. So keep that in mind. I paid less than what normally is being charged here, and I'm still pissed off. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Comment down below what you think about the figure, what you think about the review. Leave a like, share, mix with your friends, follow me on Instagram for more content over there, and I'll see you guys later.